Hey guys, what's up? It's Liz and Monica.
Hey
and
guys.
we're back with
The Real Tea, and we have a very special, amazing first guest. His name is MarioArrizon.
How you
Hi,
doing,
Mario.
ladies?
Good. How are you?
Thank you so much for the honor.
No.
Right away, we clicked right away. I'm like, man, it's like we know each other forever, right?
I know.
I just
Yeah.
had the privilege to speak at one of your events, and we
Yes.
got to become friends, and I'm meeting this amazing girl over here, Liz.
Thank
Such
you.
a pleasure. You guys made me feel like family right away, so thank you.
thank you.
For sure.
Thank you. Well, we're super excited to have you here today as our first guest, which we did have, the opportunity, and we're so grateful for everyone that has, wanted to be on our podcast, but we were like, you know what, we need someone super powerful that can bring it, that we trust, that we know is about what, his game, that speaks the truth.
that can benefit our viewers, right?
And immediately once I told her, she was like, I'm so excited.
Thank you.
She was like, that's so cool. And I was like, perfect. And it was super last minute, so I appreciate that too.
Absolutely. What are friends for, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah. So thank you. We're super excited. And I know we've recently met with your family and my family, and it was like an instant connection. But I don't know a whole lot about you. So that I'm excited to learn a little bit more and more details, because I'll be honest, when we did the Winner Circle seminar, when we had it, Gabe was actually the one that was like, hey, we have to have Mario. He's amazing. He'd be a great opener. And then he goes, so we had you on there for like the first speaker. And then he was like, oh, Mario doesn't want to go on first. He wants to go on like third. And I was like, who is this guy? Who does he think he is? What do you mean? And he's like, I'm like, he's calling shots. And he's like, yeah, have you seen his Instagram? And I'm like, no, I haven't. And then he showed me your Instagram, and I was like, all right, I guess. I was like, all right, he sounds pretty cool. So then he was like, yeah, he says that he doesn't want to go first because the room isn't usually full. And then it was the truth. We got there, and the first guest, unfortunately, it wasn't like super packed. And then I remember when you came on, it was, and that was the first thing that I thought in my mind.
Wanted to make
I
an
was
impact.
like,
Yes.
I was like, oh my gosh, he knows exactly when people are going to show up.
Yep.
But it was perfect because you set the tone. You set the
Thank
tone
you.
in the crowd, and everybody, like including myself, I got to sit right in the front, and I was like, let me see what this guy's about. I had already looked at your Instagram at that point, and we loved it.
Thank you.
It was, I mean, it was what, 20 minutes, 30 minutes or
Yeah.
something like that? And,
Yep.
and just in that short period, I was like, this guy is cool. And my husband too, he was like, you know what, I want to meet that guy. So
It was awesome. Yeah, your husband's amazing. Right away, he invited me over. Unfortunately, I had to take a flight right afterwards, or else I would have been there with you guys.
The singers are the most inviting people that
They
you will
are.
ever meet.
They are.
They really are.
I love it.
From the wife to the husband to the kids.
Yeah.
They are the most inviting people. I think
Yeah.
that's why we've been good friends for so long. But
Yeah.
I personally don't know Mario, so this is going to be exciting for me. This is interesting. So
Thank you.
I got tons of questions. So.
Perfect.
Yes.
Let's ask away. I can't wait. And I'm honored. I'm here to serve. I'm here to impact. I know there's going to be a listener or a viewer that's going to get impacted because that's what I do. Like, I know why God created me, and it's to impact people, to
Make a difference.
make a difference, because for so long I lived without purpose, and I thought success, money wise, was it. And I realized I got that. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm still empty.
What's next?
What's next?
Yeah.
And you know what it was? It was never about me. God did not create me for me. God created me to serve others, and it changed my life. Before, I had a mindset, ladies, like I was like a cup. I was like, pour into me. What can you offer me? And then I had a shift in my mindset, like, I'm a vessel for God. I'm a pitcher. The more I pour into myself, the more I can pour into others.
Yeah.
So now when I self-improve, now when I read, it's not for me, it's for my people. Because it's not if, it's when they're gonna need some guidance, they're gonna need some leadership.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm all about.
Oh, well, that's awesome. So I want to like definitely hear about like how this happened, but to get a little backstory, who
is Mario?
Who was Mario, and who was Mario? Let's say like year 1 to 10.
So to be honest with you, I had the most amazing childhood growing up.
Okay.
I had the most amazing childhood. My dad to me was like Superman. And when you grew up in the hood, like you think my dad can beat up anybody. I don't know why we think fighting, right? So I remembered that.
Filipino in us.
Yes, I had like the
Where did you
greatest.
grow up?
In Pacoima, California.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Where's
so
this at?
Pacoima in the valley.
San Fernando Valley.
San Fernando
Okay.
Valley.
So it's the hood part, but they cleaned it up now, right? So, but yes, I remember just having the greatest childhood and being a big brother for the first time, and then everything fell apart. I remember a big fight. Police officers came over and they took my father.
Oh, shoot.
My mom and dad had a really ugly fight, and I didn't see my father, it felt, for years. And I was distraught. Like, I went from having my own room, 2-story house, everything's perfect, mom and dad, to living in a trailer with my mom and not seeing my dad, and living in a van with my mom and my little brother. And I remember like praying to God, like, God, why do you hate me so much?
I'm gonna start crying already.
Why'd you take away my hero from me? Why are we so poor? And I'm short. Like, come on, God. Like, I remember, because even in elementary school, even in middle school, I was the shortest kid. In high school, I was not even 5 foot tall. I actually had a growth spurt. Like, and so I'm like, thank you, God, you do love me. But what was happening? I needed to go through that. I needed to get humbled. And now, at the time when I was a kid, I didn't understand why I was going through this. Mm-hmm. But he knew that one day I was going to be who I am. And I never looked down on people, ever, because I make more money or because I have more influence. Never. Like, I'm literally that guy that I'm in my Lamborghini and I'll pull over. And if I see someone on the side of the road, I help them push them off the road. Mm-hmm. And they're like, am I on punk? And I'm like, no. And they're like, why'd you help me? Yeah. Like, that's your car?
Why not?
And I'm like, you know what? Because I remember someone helping my mama when she ran out of gas. Mm-hmm. And I vowed that no matter how much money I have, I will always be that person. And it gave me a drive. Now, my mom and dad divorced and they both remarried. And I got so blessed. Like, people hear horror stories about step parents. Like, no, like, I got the most amazing stepfather. I got the most amazing stepmom. I hate saying that because they never treated me like a stepson, ever. And any listeners out there that are listening right now or viewing this, like, you have no idea the impact you can have in that child that you're bringing into your life that it wasn't yours blood, but that my stepfather changed the way I think. So did my mom, because they treated me that way. Yeah. And you have such an important role. And that's the kind of things that I teach, because a lot of people, well, it's not mine, or no, you have no idea the influence you can have. Mm-hmm. So that was my childhood, but I had that drive. So my parents remarried and they started competing who can have more kids or something. I'm the oldest here of 9 siblings.
Oh, dang.
Like, damn, he is Mexican, right? Yeah, so I had a drive. I always had that responsibility. Like, I want to make my parents proud, my brothers and sisters proud, that I'm their big brother.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was the worst example. I got kicked out of 4 schools in the Valley. I was just tired of kids bullying me, picking on me, and I started fighting back. And I got kicked out of 4 schools. And I was forced to move with my father in the Inland Empire in Riverside. And it changed everything. Like, having a father in your life is so, like, my dad didn't put up with that. Like, he's like, you're not dressing like a cholo over here. Yeah. Because I thought I was a wannabe cholo, right? Yeah. Like, he's like, you ain't dressing like that. You ain't talking like that. And it changed my life. And he actually forced me to do financial services.
No way.
Yeah, I don't want to do financial service. What kid goes like, oh yeah, I want to sell insurance and investments? Like, no way. My dad's like, Mijo, I think that you'll do good in this.
Was he doing that?
No, he bumped into a lady and the lady was persistent, like trying to refinance his house. And she's like, no, you're like everybody else. And she finally convinced them. And he asked, like, hey, do you make money doing this? She's like, yes, I make like $5,000 or $7,000 a month, and I only speak Spanish. He's like, perfect. And she thought my dad wanted to do that. No, not for me. I'm too busy. My son. And the lady's like, how old is your son? He's like, 19. She's like, absolutely not. 19-year-olds, they don't make it. Yeah. They're gonna waste my time. My son's gonna make it. And actually, we broke records in our firm. Like, my wife and I, she started at 18, I started at 19.
Oh, wow.
And we became the youngest $1 million earners in the firm history. That been around 45 years. The youngest $1 million earner, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, and the company pays us.
You guys both started at that age.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And they told her, and we made a pact, like, we're gonna prove them wrong, that young people can do this. Yeah. And our team, I actually use that as an advantage. Like, they say this about us, we're gonna prove them wrong. Yeah. And I would actually tell their parents, like, hey, you really want to help your child succeed? Yes. well, you have credibility, come with them, help them out.
Yeah.
And I actually started recruiting adults into the business.
Wow.
And it's amazing.
So when you moved to Riverside, what age were you?
I
This
was
high school?
I was 14 years of age.
Okay.
Yep.
And then that's when you had to, follow your dad's rules.
Yes.
Like life-changing, I'm sure.
Yep.
And then it's a new crowd.
Yep.
And then, so you listened to him.
I had no choice. My dad's like old school. Like
That's what I was just
he
gonna
wasn't
ask.
going to be like, little Mario,
Si
go to the
quieres.
corner. No, I'll get knocked the heck out. He's like, sí, cabrón.
Yeah.
You know Hispanics, right? Like they don't care how old you are.
I always
who's
say
around.
it's not like the times now where the kids
No
are
way.
like, bro.
No,
And I'm like, bro? Who are you calling bro?
Exactly. So that happened. Like I actually I kind of tested him, and I woke up a couple minutes later. Like I'm like, all right, I ain't testing him no more. And yeah, like he didn't play. And it's funny because with my sons, he lets them get away with it, murder. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, Dad.
No le hables así.
That's right. He's like, hey, están niños. I'm like, wow, like, dude, I used to get the chancla, the gancho, whatever, the plancha, whatever was there. Like, shoot, right?
Yeah.
So it's crazy, but we all grow. It's
So
awesome.
so when did you and your wife meet? How long have you guys been together?
It's so cool. My wife and I actually met in high school. So I was 2 years behind. So I was in the 11th grade in her 9th grade class. I was so behind in school. And I actually met her in my math class.
Okay.
And I used to copy off of her. and back then, we were just friends. She used to actually send me letters from her friends like, oh, my girlfriend likes you and things like that. So we never seen each other like that. We were just good friends.
Yeah.
She used to help me with my homework and things like that. And then afterwards, after I graduated, I seen a picture of her. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's Franny? Oh my goodness, I still remember that green dress, right? I'm like, oh my God, she's gorgeous. And she grew up like she actually got on the yearbook, like the biggest transformation from like freshman to senior.
Wow.
And when I seen her, I'm like, hey, it's your birthday, right? So she turned 18 and I was actually trying to tell her to join my business in financial services. And
cool.
we became good friends, and I didn't even hire her. One of my friends hired her, and she became my top producer in my organization as an 18-year-old.
Wow.
And that's what impressed me because she was super scared. She was nervous to talk to adults about finances as an 18-year-old. But you know what? She had guts. She had that grit. And I'm like, ooh, she's the girl for me.
Do you think I should be asking you, but do you think, did you have a little crush on him already when you started or no?
Not really. He was actually the most popular guy in school. So he was way
But when you started in the financial services, did you already have a crush on him or no? Because sometimes I feel like that motivated her to do better, because she's probably like, ooh, I kind of like
She
this
won't
guy.
admit it, but I think when we're an agent, I think she did because there was a lot of girls trying to partner up with me. Like, all right, so hey, they wanted me as their business partner and like their partner in life. So I seen her and she's like, no, I'm not here for him. Because my mentor said she would kick out girls like, are you here for Mario? Or are you here to build a business? And she's like, I'm here to build a business. And she outproduced everybody. And I was like, she's the girl for me.
She's like the alpha just got here.
That's right. And that's right. And all those girls quit.
don't have that type of mentality at that age.
No.
Like they're not bosses yet.
But she had something to prove, and she definitely proved it. I was so proud
So
of
you
her.
guys have been married for how long?
14 years.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we got married young.
14 years and 2 kids.
Yes.
Oh.
And I'm working on that baby girl. She don't know it yet, right? No, I'm just kidding. No, but yes.
Oh my gosh. So obviously as an entrepreneur, I know it's not always, rainbows and butterflies. Obviously there's ups and downs. So tell us a little bit about some of those moments where you hit rock bottom maybe.
The struggles.
Tell us about some of those struggles.
And
how it's changed you.
What a great question, because those struggles, not just because it sounds good, it's the truth. It's what made us. I remember Franny and I were working our tail off, building a business in San Diego, and from Riverside to San Diego, sometimes with traffic, it's a 2-hour one-way drive. Yeah. So there were some times that we couldn't afford gas money to drive to San Diego and go back. So I would tell her, hey, you can stay today. I'm going to stay with family. I didn't have family. I didn't want her to stay in the car. I was used to, God prepared me. I was used to sleeping in the car. So I would stay in my car, and just have a suit ready for the next day to go see and train people and help clients out. And I remember giving this team, because they were all adults, professionals, police officers, educators, and I was like on my last dollars to help them out. And I invited them to dinner. I'm training them. I'm the example.
Right.
So I would invite them to go eat, and they would order, and I'm counting like, oh my goodness, I only got $30 in my account.
You're like, bring the Don Julio out.
Yeah, I'm like, right, like. I was like counting, and I'm like, oh my, like it's gonna be $25 plus tip. I can't afford to eat, so I would count. I'm like, you're not gonna eat. I'm like, no, I just wanted to treat you guys. Like I'm not hungry. I ate before that, and I would make excuses, and I would go to sleep hungry for this team.
Gosh.
But I didn't look at it like poor me.
Yeah.
I said, this is why I'm gonna win.
Right.
Because no one's willing to sacrifice like I'm willing to sacrifice. I give myself not a pit like, oh, poor me.
Yeah.
Like, this is why I'm gonna win. And I remember building that team, had 50 agents showing up. I mean, it was crank. It was like popping. The environment was amazing. The next week we show up, nobody showed up. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm calling everybody. Not one person's responding to me, texting me back. Like all the money I have, I put into my office, into my people. They all went to another company. All of them.
Oh, shoot.
And my wife and I, one person just texted me and say, hey, you don't deserve this, but we all left another company. I'm so sorry. And that's it.
Why do you think that happened?
I put somebody in a leadership position that was a police officer, and that was giving me credibility because he was 40 and I'm 20 years old, 21, and I'm like, look at this 40-year-old thinks I'm a leader. So I'm putting him on a pedestal, and that guy got offered more money. And he's like, I can take his whole team. They already look at me as a leader, and went to another company. And when they went over there, it wasn't what they promised. They all eventually, in less than 3 months, they all quit also. But they didn't have the heart to come back. They were so like embarrassed because they know my wife and I give them everything. And I remember that drive home. It felt like it was days.
Yeah.
And my wife and I would look at each other, and we would just cry like this was our family. Like we gave everything to them.
And how do you move forward from something like that?
This is what happened. I remember we were crying, and I would look at her, and we would cry more. And when we pull up to the driveway, I remember hitting my steering wheel, and I said, they're gonna regret this. And she's like, what do you mean? What's going on? I'm like, stop crying. Like, they're gonna regret this. Like one day, someone's gonna try to talk to them to join the financial service industry, and they're like, oh no, I already did that thing. With who? And they're gonna say with Mario and MarioArrizon. And the person talking to them like, are you kidding me? You know they're the youngest $1 million earners in the company history. You quit on them? And I was telling my wife that vision as a 21-year-old.
Spoke it into existence.
Exactly, and that's exactly what happened. A couple years later, we walked the stage in front of 50,000 people.
Oh my God.
And they recognized us as the firm's youngest $1 million earners in company history.
What was going through your mind? Like, what did you feel, at that moment?
At the moment we were going through it, I wish I can tell you it was a godly moment. Like, oh, God's with, no. I wanted revenge.
Okay.
I wanted like, man, they're going to regret this. I'm being honest with you. Like, they're going to regret this. So every time I wanted to throw in the towel, every time I wanted to quit, every time I wanted to get tired, I'm like, I have something to prove.
Yeah.
And I use that fire to drive me. Yeah. See, when it just happens, whatever happens to you, nothing negative or positive ever happens to you. It's how you respond.
Yeah.
It's how you respond that makes it a negative or a positive. And for me, my whole life, I was used to reacting, because that's what we do. Like,
right.
So a total stranger can flip you off and guess what? Ruins your whole day. Can you believe? Like, why do we give people the control of our life? Yeah. Seriously, imagine, Monica, like you don't even know this stranger. And you're like, you know what? Here's the control of my life today. You control my attitude. Why do we do that?
Yeah.
I took that back. The strongest pill I ever had, the thickest pill I ever had to swallow was the pill of responsibility. I said, I am where I'm at because of me.
Yeah.
I can't blame my wife. I can't blame my mentors. I can't blame that team that quit. I need to grow better as a leader.
100%.
I caused this. What could I have done better? And I grew, and it motivated me.
Yeah.
And it changed everything.
Because we're responsible for our own
happiness,
our own actions, everything.
And you know what happened? Because we responded the right way, the following month, we bumped into this real estate agent that she said, don't you ever tell me to leave real estate. Like, I will quit your team right now. I'm just doing this extra because of the market. It was in 2008 when the market was kind of, she just made 45 grand the month prior. She did good, but she's like, I'm never leaving real estate. Don't you ever dare. Like, I was born for real estate. I'm like, okay, Vicky, calm down. Like, I'm not trying to do that. Let me just show you how to make, that she's passionate about it. And I respect that. But she joined the business with me, and she introduced me to her cousin, her nephew, and they didn't know that she made 45 grand that previous month. I was negative 9,000 because of chargebacks in the insurance industry, because of my rent, because of my I had to hide my car from the repo company. But she didn't follow where I was at. She was following where I was going. Yeah. And that's what she's like. She was doing unbelievable, and she followed me. How is it? Mm-hmm. It was my vision. See, so many people are so caught up in the season in their life. That was winter for me. But imagine if someone's freaking out like, oh my God, it's winter. Like, you're like, hey, this is just a season. Yeah. But some people stay in that season. Yeah. They have a victim mentality. Mm-hmm. And I had that growing up. And thank God for mentorship. Yeah. Thank God for my environment that is saying, like, you're no victim. Mm-hmm. Like, ladies, like, I see that you girls are like fit, like, man, you guys are looking awesome. But if you were to compete with some other woman, and if you fought them, guess what? You can get knocked down. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But here, that's normal. Yeah. But you know what's the problem? If a week later, Monica, you're still down. Yeah. Liz, a month later, you're still down. Mm-hmm. Oh, I got knocked out. Like, get your butt up. Uh-huh. Some people are still down from the pandemic. Yeah. Some people are still down from 2008, 2007, the banking and real estate crisis that happened. They're still down. Some people are still down from something that happened in their childhood. Like, when are you going to get your butt back up? Yeah. God did not create you to be a victim. Yeah. And the same people, I've been knocked down, but now, look, everything in life, when it hits, it's a test. And I realize that. I'm being tested. If I pass this test, it becomes a testimony. Mm-hmm. I'll have to fight you guys. I'm sorry. If I fail this test, it becomes a tragedy. Yeah. And that's why God created me. Because someone might be listening here like, I'm being tested. Am I ready to go to the next level? Mm-hmm. Right, Liz?
Yeah. So fast forward to the pandemic, real estate stopped for a couple weeks. Like, every loan that was in escrow fell out of escrow. And so we're like calling each other like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And February of 2020, my husband and I had just gotten life insurance. Wow. We had just gotten life insurance from a friend. And then the next, not even a month later, it was the whole pandemic happened. And he was like, well, I'm glad, we have insurance. Like, should I die with, this whole COVID thing that's going on, at least I'll, we'll have, you guys will be set for the rest of your lives. And we got it for everybody. And then she and I were talking, and I was like, hey, friend, like, we just got life insurance. Like, our friend told me how much she's going to make. And I was like, with all this stuff going on, that's kind of a good business to get into. Mm-hmm. And she was like, are you going to do it? And I was like, yeah, let's just do it. So we both started the classes. Yeah. Oh, no way. Yeah, that's so we cool. both started doing it because at that time we were like, dude, real estate's out. Yeah. Like, every escrow on the planet freaking canceled. Wow. Like, it was like, I think for 2 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm. It's like real estate froze.
Yeah, it froze for 2 weeks. I mean, yeah, it froze. All of the loans were canceled. So everybody had to start over once they allowed for real estate to continue happening. Wow. And in that meantime, in those few weeks, we were just like, well, what are we going to do? We were like, well, we know how to sell. So
that's right.
We know we want to help people. We know how to sell. And obviously, we're driven, we're not lazy. So I was like, I think this would be something that would go hand in hand with what we already do.
Yeah, with what we already do. Yeah. And then we had just gotten our policies and, more than just life insurance. And I was like, you know what, this is a pretty cool industry. So we started doing the class, I took the classes. I just never went and tested for it, because then real estate picked back up, and then same thing like you're saying, like it's all about your reaction, right?
Yes.
I decided, you know what, like everybody stopped working. I'm like, I'm gonna hit it hard, and I have a hard time with like anxiety. So for me, like I have to stay on a routine. I have to listen to podcasts. So literally every day of the pandemic, I was waking up. I was, I had a coach.
Working out, doing something.
Yeah, working out. I had a real estate coach. I was out there showing properties. I wasn't scared of COVID. I was, doing like, I was selling, and it was like my biggest year yet at the time. I did amazing during COVID, because I was like, I'm not going to let this stop me.
Wow.
So I kind of like let go of the idea of insurance for the time being, and then she actually just went and got licensed.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah. And that's what I was talking to her about. I was like, look, I want to do more. I feel like I can help people in different ways, not just in real estate. Okay, so the transaction ends in real estate, then what? I get so many questions when they're like, I work with a lot of Hispanics, okay? So my clientele is all Hispanic based. So I get a lot of questions where they're like, oh, ¿cómo puedo proteger la propiedad? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. So sorry, Then when we started talking, she's like, friend, like you should really look into the insurance thing, if that's something that you want to do and learn more. So I got licensed. I actually posted on social media just yesterday, I think it was. And I'm like, look, my next goal is to open my own office, my insurance office next year.
Nice.
Right? And then I started getting so many messages where people were like, hey, if you open an office, let me know. Like, I'm licensed.
Wow.
I'll go with you. Or like, I want to get a license, or I want to do a side hustle. Like, what can I do? And the best question I gave was, you want to do a side hustle? Get into insurance.
That's right.
Honestly, get into insurance.
Wow.
So
that's amazing. I love your girl's mindset. Honestly, no wonder why you succeed. And telling you like about the insurance. The cool thing is Zoom changed our life.
100%.
Oh yeah.
Like I have stay-at-home moms that they were struggling how they're going to pay their mortgage, and now they're making $20,000 and $25,000 a month with me from home. Yeah. Now the husband's like, honey, I'll take care of the kids. Don't worry.
I'll be the trophy
husband. Hey, it's hilarious. They're joking around, but it's amazing because yes, it's a very lucrative business, and you know what? It's something very simple. How to help out people. It's awesome, and people love having security, because in the insurance, in the investment business, there's what's called residual income.
Yes.
And that's the powerful part. That imagine waking up in the beginning of the month and all your bills are taken care of with your residual. If you do any sales, you do it because you want to, not because you need to.
Yeah.
Because of passion. And I was telling you, ladies, that I feel like I'm like Robin Hood, because I came from the hood, right? So I have billionaire friends, I have multi-millionaire friends also, and I get their information on tax strategies, on insurance, on investments, how to get out of debt sooner, things that the banks do not want you to know. And I get that information, I bring it back to the hood. I'm like, look, guys, information changes situations.
Yeah.
But you got to apply it. Everyone says knowledge is power, but a lot of us, there's a lot of educated broke people out there. It's applied knowledge that is power. And sometimes like I got the knowledge, but where do I go?
Yeah.
That's why.
What do I do with it?
Yes. I show them how to implement it. About their investments, about taxes, about anything that they need help in the financial arena. That's what I do. And I have a passion for it, meaning I would do this for free. And my clients feel that.
Yeah.
That I'm like, you don't have to do it with me. They're like, no. I want to do it with you because I can feel, you know what you're doing, and I feel your passion.
Yeah.
So that's one
you
of
don't have commission breath.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's one of the things that I get a lot, and I know Monica does too, is where people are like, hey, we can tell you're so passionate about real estate. And what I mean by that is, obviously as a real estate agent, you're just the realtor, right? So then there's the lender. The lender's the one that educates the client to what type of program do they need? What do they qualify for? How do we help you fix your credit? All these things, right? I take it upon myself to learn their role, to learn the lender's role.
Wow.
And then I go and apply it to social media, and I'm handing out all this info. I'm like, hey, look, guys, there's this new program.
Wow.
Hey, look, there's this. Hey, did you know you can do this? If you did these 3 things with your credit, this will happen. So that's where I started realizing, like, hey, I'm not too busy. I need to stop saying I'm too busy to get into the insurance business. I'm too busy for the financial world, because that was my excuse for a long time. I was like, I don't want to do it because I'm so stuck on real estate. This is my baby. Like, I've created this, you know, and I feel like I'm, you know, successful in what I do. And now I'm like, what else can I do? I need to stop saying that I'm busy.
Wow.
You know, there's single moms out there making it happen. There's single dads making it happen. So what's my excuse? Because I had a baby.
And we already have the clients.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Seriously. You know what? Your mentality becomes your reality. I promise you this. If you tell yourself, I don't have time, you're 100% right. You tell your subconscious mind all the reasons why you don't. The quality questions you ask yourself will determine the quality life you live. And the quality questions you ask others. So I promise you, like, if what you're telling yourself is so powerful, and I realized that, like, I would say negative stuff, like I would mess up, like, oh, I'm so dumb. Catch that. Or I would say, oh, I'm just not good at taking an exam. Like, I wasn't good yet. That word yet changed my life. I'm not in good shape yet.
So that's what I tell my son.
Yes.
My 10-year-old, he's so athletic, and sometimes he'll get upset if they lose a game. And he's like, I suck, like I could have did better, I could have got that interception, and I'm like, you need to speak differently. You cannot keep saying, like, I suck, like I can't do this. Like, it's a team effort, buddy. Like, you're not going to go out there and you're not going to keep saying it, because that's all that's going to keep happening, you know?
Dang.
So we changed the way that...
You can be a coach, girl. My goodness, I'm fired up right now. Let's go win that game, right?
So we got to teach this from... you know, at home, right? We got to teach these kids. I know her and her husband are the same. You know, kids can't walk around saying, oh, I'm dumb, or like, No, you know, I'm smart. What could I have done differently? You know, there's always something. You can't always speak down on yourself.
You can't.
You're speaking down on yourself, everyone else is going to speak down
Absolutely.
on you. You know, you got to hold yourself up to a pedestal, and then everyone else will see where you're looking at yourself.
That's
right?
so true. And the power of words, what you're saying, like, it really becomes your reality. Like, for myself and my wife, like, we were obsessed with, we're gonna break that record. Like you know, when you blow out a candle, like, you'll make a wish, like, we're gonna be the youngest $1 million earners. Like what is it, a shooting star? I'm like, you know, like, any wish was like,
you speak it into existence.
You gotta be that way. Watch, girls, if you... And I'm saying girls because I see you as my sisters, okay? So no disrespect, ladies, okay? No. But I see you as girls. But with me, like, you guys are my friends, you guys are my girls. So let me tell you, like, on the drive over here, how many red cars did we see? If you're honest, did you count any of them? No, that'd be weird. Imagine, like, why are you counting red cars? But what if on the drive back home, I said, hey, you know what, ladies? I'm feeling generous. I'm gonna give you $100 for every red car you see. Guess what? You're going to see 100 of them. And even if it's kind of pinkish, like, well, it looks red to me, right? You'll convert it. Well, guess what? Was there red cars on the way over here? Yes. But you were not focusing on it. See, on the way back, there's opportunities everywhere. If you're saying there's no clients, there's no this, guess what? You'll never see them. But if you're like, it's everywhere, it's abundant, it changes your life. See, I grew up with a scarcity mindset, like, because we used to fight for food. So I thought, like, there's not enough money, there's not enough food, there's not enough electricity, there was not enough gas. Like, I know they say, like, oh, the root of all evil is money. I'm like, no, I was evil when I had no money. I was angry. Dude, someone would cut me off on the road. I'm like, you cut off the wrong person today, right? Like, now,
Mario from the hood.
That's right. The Pacoima would come out of me, right? But look, let me tell you, now they'll cut me off, and I'm with one of my friends that I'm mentoring. You know what? They're like, you ain't gonna do nothing. I'm like, bro, I'm wealthy. I'm like, dude, that guy's probably having a bad day. As a matter of fact, what if he just found out something happened?
Oh my God, I always say that.
You know, and I'm over here wishing bad. And I'm gonna tell you something. It's called a paradigm shift. And it changed my life, because there was this, I'm gonna tell you a story. There was this man with his children at the airport, and his kids were being so loud, and they were having, like, the greatest time, and this guy was just zoned out, and this lady was trying to, like, do some work on her laptop, and she's like, like, these kids, who's their parents? Like, where's their parents at? And she found out it was him, and she's like, she got up, and she's like, excuse me, sir, excuse me, and he, like, zoned out, like, yeah. He's like, can you tell your kids something, please? Like, I'm trying to do some work. Like, control your kids. And the guy's like, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry they're bothering you. But this is the first time I see my kids smile since their mom passed away. That lady went from being a witch, because my kids are in the room, I'm not going to say the word, to like, oh my God, how can I help? That's a paradigm shift. See, so many times we're so quick to judge and we don't know what's going on. And it changed my life. It changed my life because it happened to me also. I remember, I'm a big car guy. Kids used to make fun of how I used to dress. You'll never see me not dress sharp. Because kids used to tease me so much about my clothing, about my hair. My wife talked about I was the most popular kid because I used to dress for that. I used to work my tail off. At high school, I used to sell anything to make sure I had enough money to look good because kids were not going to make fun of me no more. And when I had enough money, I bought nice cars. So I have a Lamborghini that I got. And just the tire on Lamborghini is so expensive, all that stuff. But my little brother came over, I helped him out, and he went, and like 2 minutes later, I hear screaming, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, we just flipped over on the freeway. Edgar's bleeding out of his head. I'm like, that's my little brother. I freaked out. I got on my Lamborghini, and I went through the, the emergency side.
Oh, yes.
And nails were getting in my thing. I didn't care about my freaking car. Yeah. It's a car. It's replaceable. I'm just wondering if my brother's okay. And a lady intentionally cut me off, and she's like, you're going to wait like the rest of us because there was traffic. And I'm like, lady, I need to go. And she's like, she wouldn't even look at me. And finally, the traffic moved a little bit, and I moved around her. I didn't even bother telling her nothing. I just went a couple miles down, and I got there, and I got my little brother, and he was bleeding from his head. But thank God, the car flipped over, and he was okay. And I'm hugging him, had blood on me. And the lady stopped, and she's like, I'm so sorry. See, so many times we're so angry at someone doing that. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know if their kid flipped over on the freeway, if their kid got ran over, and it changed my perspective. And I'm happier now. Yeah. Instead of I used to be angry, like, oh, that person. I'm like, who cares? You know what I do? I pray for them.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're okay.
Yeah.
It changed my life.
I think when you've gone through situations in life, there's two things that can happen, right? The outcome can be either you're a better person or you're just always going to be upset, and you're always just going to be this person that just has a cloud over them, right?
Yes.
So I lost my dad when I was 10. And so my mom was a single parent, and there was 3 of us. I'm the oldest. So I always felt like a sense of like, I have to protect my brothers, and I have to help my mom. So I started working when I was 15. And so life was great. I had a great childhood. Everything was great. My dad was amazing. My mom was amazing. They had a great relationship. Everything was great, right? Unfortunately, my dad was killed. So moving forward, I think that's where I felt like I was built, right? So I was built to be like, tough, like resilient and relentless, and I can care less. But I was always triggered. Someone would say something, I'm like, you too, and and I was always going off, right? And as I got older, I started realizing, like, when something's happening to me, when I'm having a bad day, because maybe I'm thinking about my dad, or I'm thinking like, why is life so unfair? Like, why did this happen to me? Like, my family was so perfect. Why not to this person who they hate their dad? Why doesn't their dad go away? Why did it happen to me? Instead of thinking like that, like, how could I switch it up? So then I started changing my mentality. Well, when the court started for my dad's hearing, they got, I think it was like 15 years or something to life. And so now I was now 25 it's before my son, I think. I was like about 23 years old when we had to go to parole hearings now. So I had to sit in a table just the way we are right now, across from who killed my dad, the 2 guys who killed my dad.
Oh my God.
And my mom didn't allow my brothers to go because one of my brothers was there when my dad passed away, when it happened. So she didn't want him to go in because he has anger issues. So he's, so there's a lot, he hasn't healed. So I got to go with her, and I remember thinking before I got there, I'm just upset. I don't care. Like, I just want them to stay in prison. I could care less about their life. I could care less about their pity. I really don't care. I still didn't feel. So they ended up getting denied. 2 years later, there was another parole hearing. And within those 2 years, I felt so different. And I wrote a letter because I thought, I don't know if I'm going to be able to read it at the parole hearing. So I wrote a letter of what I wanted to say to them. And these were individual cases. And so I wrote a letter, and it came from my heart. And I remember in that letter saying, I forgive you, but it's not up to me to forgive you. It's up to God to forgive you. If he wants to give you a second chance, by all means, I wish you well. And I remember my brother, when we left and everything, he didn't get to go, but he was like, how dare you? Mom told me what your letter said. And I'm like, look, if you haven't healed, I mean, you can't blame me for, I don't want to be upset anymore. I don't want to carry this with me anymore. Like, I'm tired of being tired.
Wow.
Like, I'm tired of feeling sad all the time, and I'm tired of feeling like I'm a victim. So I don't want to do this anymore.
Wow.
So I just want to forgive, and I want to move on with my life. I'm gonna have a son. Like, I want my son to be happy. You know, I don't want to do this anymore. As years went on, he realized, like, you know what? I'm sorry. You're right. You know, like, I'm so sorry, but I can't forgive. And I said, and that's okay. You don't have to. I'm not asking you to. So about 8 months ago, my brother was killed. So I remember thinking, like, why? Like, anything else? Like, what else are you going to hit me with? Like, really? And I remember trying to shut down, but something in me kept saying, like, you got to get up. You got to get up. You know, you can't shut down. Remember when you had to be there for your family? You got to be here for them now. You got to be there for your mom. You got to move forward. You got to be there for your sister-in-law, you know? And I feel like all of these situations, we choose how we want to come out of them. Honestly, I feel like I've came out stronger, and I feel like there's nothing that can break me at this point. Unless it's God, nothing can break me.
Wow. Amazing.
And that's why I got so emotional earlier when you were talking.
Wow. Amazing. I'm so proud of you. And
thank you.
You know the most beautiful thing in the world is forgiveness.
Absolutely.
Look, and I'm not trying to get religious. I'm not a religious person. I just have a relationship with God, and I'm far from perfect. I'm not those people that, like, oh, I got a perfect marriage. I got a perfect, like, no way. I have an amazing marriage, but nothing's perfect.
Right.
I got an amazing business, but nothing's perfect. And I'm far from that. I'm relatable with people because I tell them my faults. Like, hey, but God forgives me.
Yeah.
He gives me grace. Honestly, like, no one deserves to live the way I live and have the impact, but it's all because of God's grace. And look, what you're doing, you stop drinking the poison, because you know what you're doing? You're drinking the poison, hoping that person dies.
Yeah.
And that person, you know, they got to live with themselves, but I'm proud of you. Like, I'm not drinking this poison no more. And you're teaching your kids how to be. Like, that's a tough pill to swallow.
Oh, absolutely.
But you did it, and I'm so proud of you, because your kids are going to do what you do, not what you say.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Seriously, I am. I hope you hear the sincerity in my voice. Like, I'm so proud of you. Like, you broke that chain of, like, victimness, of like, we don't forgive. This is who we are. You broke that for your family. And I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
That's a big deal.
And you know, it really does come from, the more that we come from that victim mentality, we're never going to move forward. No. We're never going to be happy in life. How are we supposed to be happy for our children, for our family, for our business, for everything else, if we can't even make our own selves happy?
That's right.
Right? So I'm just, and I remember.
And your kids.
Yeah. They feel it.
Yes.
And I remember people making comments on social media saying to me, making comments to me saying, how your brother just passed away, like, how are you back at work? Or your brother just passed away, like, how are you, you know? And I'm like, you know, honestly, it's really, and not to say it like that because I'm not angry, but it's none of your business.
I love that.
You know, unless you're going to ask me for advice, it's none of your business. Allow me to feel what I want to feel. And if that means, you know, me going to dinner after I buried him, that's none of your business. It really isn't. You know, and now if you want to come to me and you want to say, hey, I'm really sorry for your loss, can I give you a hug? Absolutely. Come give it to me.
Wow. You know, you're saying something powerful about Liz sharing this. Like, not only is she's healing more, but she's healing people that are watching this, that are listening to this, because there's so many people that are holding on to, like, this person did this to me as a kid, or this happened to me, or this, like, stop drinking the poison. It frees you. Let it go and grow. And I love that we're sharing information, not just like because it sounds good. Like, no, we live this. This is who we are. We didn't read this in a book. We didn't hear this. Like, this is what we lived. And that changed my mentality, because let's say, girls, let's say all I have is $1 million, and I give you $1 million. That's a win-lose situation, meaning I'm $1 million broke now, and you guys are $1 million richer. But if I give you my knowledge, now you gained and I gained. Why? I still have my knowledge and you have it. It's an abundance. So many people, we have a scarcity mindset. And look, I see this in the Hispanic community. I'm proud that I see this in our Hispanic community. We don't help each other. I see this in the Black community. We live, I'm being honest with you, because I grew up with both, right? And we have a scarcity mentality. And in order to go to another level, there's got to be one person that found to say enough's enough. And we teach that. Like my wife and I, my parents, they would not be able to be in the same room together. But before my children were born, my wife and I talked to both of them and say, hey, that stuff's going to stop. And either like, I'm not going to be driving to over here and over here. Like, no, we're going to have Christmases at our house. We're going to have Thanksgivings at our house. And
we expect you guys to
be there and I don't want our kids growing up with hate. And both of them changed because, and I'm so proud of them. Now, sometimes they party without us. I'm like, what's going on? You know, it's the greatest feeling, but someone had to be that example. And it feels so good. And it's an honor that I can coach my parents on their marriage. I can coach them on forgiveness. But because we lived it. A lot of people want to do that, but they live a different life. My parents know who Junior was before and the man that I am now. I'm not Junior no more. Now I'm like MarioArrizon, the leader, the coach. And it's the greatest feeling in the world. For me, I take a huge responsibility that God trusted me with his most precious creation, like his possession that he has, and it's his people. So I don't take my leadership position lightly. I grow for them. I improve for them. I improve for my kids. For my wife. I don't want to be a good husband. I want to be a great husband. I self-improve on how to be a better husband. I self-improve on how to be a better father. Things don't happen by accident. Like, I'm being honest with you. You got to be intentional about being great.
But you also have to recognize what you're not great at and want to accept a little bit.
There you go.
You also have to accept it, right? So like for me, I'll be honest with you. So I want to be a better wife. I want to be a better mother. Okay. I don't have patience and I know I don't. So it's something that I really want to work on. Right. And it's something but I'm admitting to it. So when we're sitting back and we're like, oh, I'm perfect. I have a perfect family. My kids are great. You know, you're not admitting to anything. So how are we supposed to, supposed to develop? We can't. I'm an open book. I always say that. So even on social media, like I say this line all the time, Monica's probably like, here we go again. But I always say when people meet me, they're like, oh my God, you're the same person, that you're on social media. Yeah, because I'm not trying to be someone that I'm not. Wow. I'm Liz. So like true. If you ask me something, I'm not going to be like, oh shit, what did I say last time? Boom, I know what I said, like. I love it. I am who I am. And I know she is too. So, and I think that's why I was so excited to meet you, really, because I was like, oh my God, like his social media is so cool. Like this guy looks like amazing. Let me check it out in real life now. And you're everything you are on social media.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I know Lester, when he's on the phone with you, he's like, I got to match his hype. He's like, man, he's so excited. But then it's funny because the few times you guys have spoken on the phone, when I talk to him, he's all excited and hyped, and I'm like, why are you so excited? I don't know, I just got off the phone with Mario, and I just want to go out there. And
energy, right?
Yeah. And he's like, and he's high energy too, and that's why I like him surrounding himself with the right people, because you can really take somebody's energy. And for years, I felt like he never was surrounded around the right people. And his energy is contagious. He has a great energy, but sometimes he gives it to the wrong people.
Don't we all? Yeah, that's what we do.
And it drains you sometimes. Yes. It can drain you. Luckily, he's very like once he's drained, like all it takes for him is like a night of sleep, and then he's recharged. He's like, okay, I'm good. He's back to himself. But because he is high energy, but then like the few times he's spoken with you, he's like, man, he's higher energy than me. He's like, but I love it because he comes back like super excited, and he's like, oh man, like he's excited again, like he's like, I love that. He loves that your energy is like that, just because he has a lot to give too.
Yes,
like
I feel that.
Yeah,
I feel that even with you ladies. Like I felt it there, and people tell me like, Mara, what's the secret? It's an attitude of gratitude.
Yeah,
I'm just so grateful. Like I'm serious. Like if you can make a decision like to be sad right now, you can really think about your father.
Yeah. Oh, a million things.
You can think about so many things, and you're down. But you can't be, I'm just telling you, you cannot be mad and grateful at the same time.
Yeah.
You cannot be sad and grateful at the same time. Like, I think about my boys. I think about my life. Yeah. I think about my life. I think about, I have my parents, they're still healthy. Like, man, what do I have? And I mean it. Like I just start thinking about all the positive things, and it changes everything. Yeah. Like I did, I give blood every like 6 months, every year. Like, I don't know if they did this on purpose or they got me with this, but they said, I have a special blood type that everyone can take my blood. Oh. And it said, Mario, you saved a little girl's life. Like, cause your blood's rare.
Are you O or?
I'm like O positive or O, one of those that everyone can take my blood.
Have you ever gotten COVID?
Yeah.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah.
I heard that the O, whatever, that rare one, that they don't get COVID.
I got it, but I didn't get one symptom. My wife got a regular sick. She was more sick than me. I was like, I had 0 symptoms. Okay. Maybe because she took care of me, maybe because of my blood, like 0 symptoms. Like I tested 4 times. I'm like, I don't have COVID. I have no symptoms. So maybe
they don't. Yeah, they don't.
Yeah. So they did that. So I donated blood again. And the second time, like they sent me a letter like, you cannot donate no more because of like you have like cancer or a disease or something. Like I'm like, whoa, all the problems that I thought I had went out the door. All of them. They said, Mario, you cannot donate. I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, I'm not gonna grow old with my wife. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna see my boys get married. Oh, I mean, everything went out the door. Mm-hmm. Like I didn't have problems no more. Right. Now I really have a problem. And I just went outside and I prayed to God. I'm like, God, if this is your will, I'm super grateful. Like you gave me an amazing life and I'm thankful. But please, like, make sure this is a mistake. And I called and they're like, oh no, I'm so sorry.
Stop.
And I wasn't even mad. I was like, Jesus, this was you. I promise you.
Okay, bye.
No, I was like, thank you. Like, they're like, you're not mad? I'm like, no, I'm grateful. They're like, we're so sorry we sent you the wrong thing. No, we just, because you donate the blood, we just got to wait a little bit more, but you're good. I'm like, thank you. I got off the phone and I had the greatest day of my life.
Yeah.
The things I was stressed about, I don't care. I could have lost everything. Like, I'm going to be alive. I can rebuild it again. I got my wife. I got my kids. Like, think about it. Like, whatever problems you're going to, what if they told you you're not going to be here?
I was just going to say that. So it's that question that people ask, right? When they say, if you only knew you were going to be here for 24 hours, what would you do? What would be different, right? We do only know that we're only going to be, we don't know if when we leave here, something's going to, God willing, it doesn't, but we don't know. I don't know if I'm going to make it home today.
Yep.
Right? So before I left, and I always do this, and I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, but you know, so I hugged Jaime before I left. I even called him, and I'm not the most nicest person in the world. So I was like, babe, I'm on FaceTime, but I don't want you seeing my face. And I just wanted to tell you that I appreciate you. I love you. And I thank you for allowing me to do all the things that I want to do because he's so supportive, right? He took the day off today to take care of our daughter because he knew I was going to come out here. He even asked me, hey, if you're going to go to, if you guys are going to go out to dinner and you're going to have a few drinks, and if Monica wants you to stay the night, just stay there. I said, no, don't worry. I'm not going to drink. I'll just go home, you know? But just having that support system. Oh,
yeah. What an amazing man.
Yeah. And so I even said, even with my daughter, he helps so much with her. You know, my son's not his son. So that was from my previous relationship. Me and Jaime got together when I was 6 months pregnant. And Max has a relationship with his dad. But people look at him and they're like, wait, Jaime's not his dad? Wow. And I'm like, no, that's his stepdad. His dad, but you know, but no, it's his stepdad. And they're like, oh my God, we would have never known.
Wow.
You know, but it's funny because I always think, why do we have to say, if we only had 24 hours, how would we act now? That should be the mentality every single day. You know, forgive, hug your loved ones, do everything, you know, like thank God for waking up this morning.
And it takes a, you know, when they say like like not your best investment, but they say like your partner can truly either, like your partner can either become like, you know, that's your lifetime partner, so that's either going to be the best thing you've ever done or the worst thing you've ever done.
Make you or break you.
It can be like your best investment or your worst investment is your partner. And so having somebody that is going to be supportive of your crazy ideas, like this is a podcast. We're not making money off of this. We're not, like we're giving our time to educate people, to have fun, to hang out with each other because we're friends. Like for us, honestly, we were like so excited because we're like, we're going to see each other. We're like,
that's
yay,
awesome.
let's do this. But also, like I think this is going to be super important for other people to see, even one person that gets to see it and gets to say like, you know what, I need to change my mentality.
Or maybe someone's struggling in in this little tiny part just here that we're talking about partnership. Maybe someone's struggling with their partner and just hearing that they're like, you know what, I'm tired of being tired. I'm tired of being in this toxic relationship because they heard this small little clip of the podcast.
I agree.
Who knows?
But also what I was going to say is sometimes, like, especially if your partner is, a homemaker or something like that. And like, let's say you guys hit rock bottom. As an entrepreneur, I don't know about you guys, but we've hit rock bottom a few times and, in the times that we've been together. But I've also experienced death. And my mentality when we have hit rock bottom, I always tell Lester, I'm like, babe, we're alive.
Yes.
Like, don't freaking worry about it. I know how to make money. If we have to go back and have a small apartment, like I can do that overnight. I got this. Like, don't worry. Like, I know how to hustle. And I think that gives him
peace of mind.
Okay, I can breathe. Like, you know what? You're right. And God loves us because it's never a long period of time. It's always like, and then the thing is, he's risky. He's super risky. So for him, it's all or nothing. And luckily, God has blessed us and he's very giving and he knows like God's always going to have my back. So the times that we have hit rock bottom, to me, it's almost like, all right, like, don't even trip. And I know he's more worried about it because he's just kind of like, dang, I put everything into this and like we have to start all over. And I'm just like, babe, our kids are healthy. They have no health problems. They're alive. They don't know the difference between rich or poor or nothing. They live an amazing life just by being able to sleep in our bed. So if we go to a little room, they're going to freaking have the time of their life to be able to sleep in our bed.
They're like, are we finally getting a one bedroom?
And then, and then he tells me like once we're out of a hole, he's like, you know what, babe, like the fact that you weren't scared, the fact that like you had zero worries, because I really didn't. I wasn't doing it for him just to cheer him up. I wasn't like, oh, babe, it's going to be okay. No, I knew because you know what? I'm a hustler too. And I knew like this is not forever. This is temporary. We're good. We got this. Like, don't even trip. And he was like, that like showed me like, you know what, I'm with the right person and we got this. And sure enough, businesses later, some are good, some are not. And, when you hit rock bottom, you just start all over. Like, as long as we have our health, nothing matters. Like, nothing matters. And when, like you said, as long as you have that drive, like, you don't have to be the smartest person, but you just have to have the drive and the willingness to move forward, and both of us have that.
That's
so
amazing.
I know that no matter what happens, if we hit rock bottom again tonight, then I know we're gonna be fine because we both have that hustler mentality in us, where it's like, hey, this isn't gonna tear us down. We've both been face to face with death, and I'm just like, you know what? It's God is good.
I got some powerful women in front of me. I love that. I love your mentality.
Yeah.
And I can see that you girls have big dreams. I love that. See, everyone has dreams. Everyone has a dream, but not everyone has that drive. And that's what makes your dream become a reality.
Yeah.
And that's what I see with both of you ladies, that you have that drive. And look, what if you're out here listening right now, or you're watching this? Like, how do you get that? Hang around people that have that drive. That's how you get that. You hang around a championship environment, a coach that brings that out of you. You heard what she said. She's like, I had a coach. I had a coach, Michael Jordan, that was the greatest basketball player ever. Kobe Bryant, greatest basketball player ever. They both had a coach.
Yeah.
His name's Tim Grover, right? Like, they both had a coach, a physical coach, a performance coach. Think about that.
Yeah.
So if the greatest in their basketball had coaches, who are we?
Yeah.
Who are we not to have coach? It's our ego. The fastest thing to hold the team back is an insecure leader that thinks he knows it all.
Oh, yeah.
That they don't have room to grow. Their insecurity about one of their people doing better. I want my team doing better.
100%.
Now, our team makes us better. They inspire us. Like, well, we embrace that. The best type of leadership is a servant leader. And I follow that. And I'm not trying to press religion or nothing like that, but Jesus Christ cleaned his disciples' feet. Like, wow, he gave this life for his people. Like, regardless if you have different faith, like, you're like, wow, that's a leader. He has billions and billions of followers still.
Yeah.
Why? Servant leadership. And that's who I strive to be. That's who my wife strives to be. That's what we teach leaders how to be. We teach leaders how to be leaders of leaders. And that's my purpose in this world. It's not financial services, even though I'm great at it. I have 6,000 agents and growing. Last month alone, we recruited over 1,000 plus people. We're growing like crazy.
What exactly do you, as far as, like, I know you're saying you have agents and stuff, but what exactly are you guys selling? I know you're saying financial services.
We do life insurance. We do auto insurance, mortgages, investments. We teach people about retirements. We show people how to get out of debt, Medicare, health, anything in the financial arena. We're a one-stop shop. We help everybody in every area. It's pretty darn awesome. We help people with wills. So many people pass away without wills or having living trust. It's necessary. You know how many families get divided after someone dies? Like, and it's a simple document. We spend $100, $200 on stupid things on the weekend, not to protect the future of our family for a simple document. I can get like a will that can cost someone $500, $1,000. I can provide one for somebody for $35.
Wow.
Like, I don't do it for commission. I do it because I know I'm making a difference. I don't make nothing on it, like literally like pennies, but I do it because I know the power of what I do. And I get referrals on a lot of different things. It's amazing. I manage a lot of money. Our organization manages right now over $500 million and growing like crazy. So I manage people's money. I show them how to create wealth. I'm in the industry that shows people how to create wealth. And the more money I make my people, my clients, our team, the more money we make. It's a win-win situation. I love that.
So now you have how many agents? Sorry.
I have 6,000 licensed representatives. Like, not just that they join, no, like that actually got a state license or a federal license, because I help people get an investment license also.
And that one's called?
There's multiple ones, but it's a Series 65
that one.
or 6 or 60. It's just different licenses, but you can get them all with me. Or a Series 7. There's a bunch of them. Just depends what you want to specialize in. We can help you get those licenses.
So what would you say to someone who wants to join the financial industry? Yeah, like, how would they get started? How would you help them get started? Or what's some advice that you would give them?
Leadership is everything. I wouldn't just go like, who's going to pay me the highest contract? There's a reason
100%.
why they do that. Like, yeah, we're going to give you this, but you're on your own, buddy. Thank God I had the right leaders on my side. My leaders, they changed my life. Like, I wouldn't have a marriage if it wasn't for them. My dad, he was travieso back in the day, not no more, but he's like, son, women come and go, you know, like, so when it got tough with me and my wife, my leader's like, you don't quit. This ring here means something. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'll just get another girl. I'm like, And she mentored me, and I have an amazing wife. Like, I was just telling my wife, like, man, I love this version of my wife. Like, how beautiful she is, how she takes care of herself, her mentality. Like, my wife is a structured person. Like, you need to tell her a month in advance what we're doing. I said, babe, Monica wants us to do this. She's like, I'm down.
It's not in the calendar.
No, I'm serious. Like, she loves you, Monica. And she's like, I love this shit. You know what? Yes, let's do it.
Oh, cool.
And she's not like that. Like, she has her calendar, but I'm like, babe, you're so down. Like when I first met her, like, whatever, like googly eyes, like whatever he wants, right? And then we get to know each other. Like, heck no, it's 50-50 in this marriage, right? But now she's like the most amazing woman. Like, babe, you want to do that? Let's go. And you know what? I like Monica anyways. I want to build a greater relationship with her. So I was just telling her how in love I am with her. I'm more in love with her now. I'm more attracted to her now than I ever have. And we've been married 14 years. But she's intentional about making me feel like that. I'm intentional about making her feel that way. For a long time, I wasn't because that's all I seen. Like, well, you should know I love you because I take care of you, right?
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
You know, well, my mentors said, your God comes first, marriage comes second, your family comes second, and then your business. Any other mentor said, no, business comes first, take care of that. No, not my mentor. I know the Lord because of my mentor. I have an amazing wife and I have amazing children because of my mentor. Like, a mentor is everything. So getting into that, so many people can, I'll pay you 80%, 100%. But do you have that life-changing mentor?
Right.
I'm that guy. So if you're saying that, I am that guy. We have 138 like brokers in real estate. Okay. For example, like there's real estate, and there's I have 138 of them, 6,000 agents, and growing. We're growing. We project over the next 2 years, we'll have 25,000 licensed reps.
Wow.
And growing. And it's not about like, oh, look how big we are. No, the impact. I know if I don't sit down with a family, if I don't get enough agents, that family member passes away, it's a breadwinner, they will destroy everything.
Yeah.
It's not just to sell because we're making commission, because I know we're making a difference. You know how many Hispanic people work their tail off?
Oh, 100%.
And no one ever sits down with them saying, hey, you should put a little bit away in this investment here that can grow tax-free for you. No one.
So every time I saw a house and they make like a really big chunk of change, people would always ask me, and a lot of them, you know, older, retired, and they're like, what do I do with this money? So my biggest fear was to
guide them the wrong way.
Yes, or to say, hey, call this person. And I don't know what that person, you know, what if the greed takes over? So I thought, okay, what if I get into it?
Smart.
You know, what if I get into it? Then the entire ball's in my court. I know that I can lay down at night and I can sleep comfortably.
That's beautiful.
You know, so maybe me learning the system and me learning what products is there available to these people so I can teach them. Maybe then I can do this, you know? And so that's when I took the test, and I was so scared to take the test, and I was like, dude, that was easy peasy. That's like common sense. Come on, you guys. Like, really, you know,
it's not
it
that
really
hard.
was.
For real, like it's crazy.
Yeah, and it's not to say it, you know, to discount it, you know, because it's still something that we shouldn't take lightly, right? But what I'm trying to say, it's a lot of it is common sense. It's just not taught, right? And a lot of it goes hand in hand with real estate too. So when I was going through some of these questions, I'm like, duh. You know, I was going through it, and I remember the representative was like, you still have about an hour left, and I'm like, no, I'm finished. She's like, are you sure you don't want to go back? I go, nope, I'm finished. And I passed it. I was like,
congratulations. I love that.
So I'm excited.
Yeah, so to tell you, like, I sponsor people's licenses, their insurance license, their mortgage license, their investment license, and no contract, by the way. I believe in me so much that I don't write a contract like, hey, I paid for all your licenses, you have to stick with me. I prove myself, like, I cover your licenses.
Yeah.
So if on Instagram, if you go to MarioArrizon, you know, or you can Google me, MarioArrizon, you'll see. But on my Instagram, I have like, hey, join my team, what they can do. They can follow me. Yeah. And they watch like a little video, and if they're serious, they'll fill it out, and one of my agents contacts them. If they're serious, like if I see they're a professional, they're not here to waste my time, I even take people under my wing. To this day, I still personally train people in the field and help them out because it's a passion. My wife does the same thing. We don't need to do it. We want to do it. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, thank you, Mario. What would you say to the 15-year-old, 20-year-old out there that just doesn't know what to do with their life, and they're just kind of listening to this and they're thinking like, you know what, I like his energy, I want to be like him. What advice would you give just in life in general? Like, what suggestions, what path should they take? What would you say to that person watching?
Wow, such a powerful question. And I would talk to, if I'm talking to the 15-year-old myself, like of myself, I would be like, hey, dude, remember this too shall pass. And it's a saying that my mentor taught me, because when I thought like every adversity that would hit me, I'm like, oh, this is the end of the world, I'm done. And just like, hey, this is just a season in your life. And be very careful who you surround yourself with, because the people you surround yourself with will determine your future. When I was that young, I didn't believe it. Like, yeah, right, I'm my own person. No, you dress like the people you're around. You talk like the people you're around, right? You think like the people you're around. Like, you hang around me and I'm making millions of dollars and you're like, dude, Mario's cool. Like, and I'm teaching you how to do the same. Like, I can do the same thing. you're going to see that. So for me, the biggest advice is like, be careful who you hang around with. If they're not adding value to your life, if they're not pushing you towards your goals and dreams, stay away from them, because there's two type of people. There's battery drainers and there's battery chargers.
Yes.
And I'm a battery charger. You
That's
can't
right.
be around me and not want to do something more with your life.
Yes, that's
and that's what changed my life. Thank God for my mentors. Thank God I was around the right crowd, and it changed everything. And put God first in everything.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you, Mario, and thank you so much for being our special guest today. We're super excited to have you and grateful, and it was amazing.
It was.
Thank you. I really enjoyed this, for real. Like,
Thank you.
your ladies are amazing, and I hope someone's heart got touched today. They're inspired, and I'm inviting myself back. I got a lot to bring, and I know we can impact a lot of people.
Let's do it.
All right, so I can't
Yeah.
wait to be back.
For
Thank
sure.
you. Thank
All
you
right,
for
ladies,
being
thank
here.
you so
Appreciate
much.
you.
All right,
Appreciate
you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. So, Mario, what's your handle? Your Instagram handle?
It's MarioArrizon. So it's Mario, and then my last name is Arrizon.
Okay. Do you have any other channels? Or?
It's like same thing on Facebook.
Okay.
Same thing on TikTok is the same thing, but my strong is Instagram.
Okay, perfect. And then Liz on Instagram, your...
I'm Liz the Realtor 760LM.
Yeah. And then on Instagram, I am realtor_Monica Singer. And obviously you guys are on The Real Tea. Subscribe and
Thank you guys. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.